G'day everyone. Got an email from one of my subscribers to tell me that there was this new app available on the iPhone. Unfortunately, it's only available on the iPhone at this stage. It's actually called Camrote, and it's just been announced or released today for the iPhone. So I thought I'd take you through it because it looks like it's going to be a really interesting app. Seeing this has been built up from the ground up to service the Sony cameras. So I thought I'd show you how it actually works. If I go back and switch over here, you'll notice that it's just a little icon down there. I'm not sure how clearly you'll see that, but it's called Camrote there. Now, if I launch the app itself, I'll show you how we connect. So you're going to see there that you can connect via QR, which is the way I'm going to actually connect to this. Connect via NFC. You can connect manually and everything like that, but I thought I'd show you how I do this, connecting it through the actual camera itself. So just bear with me because I'm just going to switch this on. So if I go to the menu function, now I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go over to the menu function and I'm actually going down to where it says control with smartphone. Now once I set that on and say connection, it's going to bring up the QR code. So now I have to just say connect via QC here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to use the app and I'm going to click on where it says connect via QR. And then I'll be able to read that. Now it's then coming up with saying join the network, so I just say join. Now if I then go to connect, you'll notice up at the top there it says A73, and then if I click on connect, it should connect to the camera itself. So now it's doing that. Now you'll notice I've got a number of things available to me now through this section. Up the top up here where it says off and start, I can actually click onto things like crosshairs, square, rule of thirds. These other things are you've got to purchase them. I'll have to do that when it's available. Unfortunately, I can't do the purchasing at this stage. But looking at it, you can add crosshairs, square, rule of thirds. So if I want to put rule of thirds on, you can see that adds rule of thirds over the image. If I wanted to have crosshairs, you can see then it's dead center and square, so it'll show a square. If you were using things like Instagram, stuff like that, that could be quite handy. And I'll leave rule of thirds on. Actually, I'll turn it off. Just turn it off there. Now you'll notice at the bottom I've got all these controls. Now what's fantastic about this, the way that this works, is that I can click on the ISO. Now anytime I can choose the images, so I can actually take it. I've set it on timer at the moment, so it's going to take 2 seconds. But let me switch this to manual for a second. So I'm turning the camera to manual. Now, let me also turn the timer off. Now you'll notice there's a 2-second timer on there at the moment. So if I click onto that, I can turn that off so it takes the image straight away that you're looking at there. Now, the great thing here too is that I can click on the ISO, so you've got control over ISO, aperture, shutter speed, timer. That's exposure compensation next to that. And then also your white balance. So I'll take you through each one of these and show you how they work. So if I wanted to say control the aperture, I can just leave it on auto. So that using it on auto. You'll see there that it's actually a slider that comes up and you can go the full range across to choose what you'd like as your ISO. So again, this works completely all wireless, so it's fantastic. Great if you've got this set up, on a remote tripod or something like that, or even if you're shooting yourself and you want to look through the iPhone. Your aperture, you just click on the aperture button there and you can change the aperture that you want to use. So you see with this lens, I've got the Tamron 28-75. I can go up to f22. Again, you get a preview in that screen of what that's actually doing. So if I say wanted to shoot 2.8, I can just drag it down to the 2.8. The next one is your shutter speed, so I can control how fast I want the shutter speed. Oh, that's not timer. Let me just go back to shutter speed there. So you can see I've got full control of the shutter speed, and it does also give you a preview of what the images is going to look like in the actual viewfinder there of the application, which is really good. I can then take the photo. So for instance, if I find that's a bit dark, I could bring the shutter speed down. Let me come up to say around about there. I might increase the ISO a little bit to there, and then I can take that shot. and that's brought that up. So basically you can see that straight away that it's taken that shot. Now if I then want to set the timer, I can just click into here and set a timer. So as you can see here too, that this slides. So if I wanted a 2-second timer, just put it on 2, and you can hear it count down and it takes the shot. The next one, I'm not sure how far that goes. It goes up to 10 seconds actually. You can do a 10-second timer. The other thing too is that the next one's grayed out, but that's because I'm on manual at the moment. That's exposure compensation. So if I wanted to turn it on to your aperture mode, you'll notice that that now has become available to me. So now if I click into here, I can use my exposure compensation to get what I want. So it'll go -5 and +5 in your exposure compensation. So that's fantastic as well. So if you are shooting with aperture mode, you can just adjust your exposure compensation as well. The next one that's along there is your white balance. So you've got all of your white balance settings that are here. You've got everything from auto white balance. You can see that shade, that will be incandescent. So again, you're getting great previews of what it's doing. You've got fluorescent, if you wanted to go that way. You've also got flash, so if you wanted to have a look at that. You've got the underwater auto. You can also dial in a color temperature there from 9,000 down to 100. Now I've noticed there isn't a manual temperature that you can just click in and adjust that. There is custom white balances, but I've noticed those custom white balances, I believe you have to set in the camera first and then you could call them up here. As this app develops, you may be able to choose the temperature with a slider. I'm sure that probably will come in a future update. But it looks really powerful. I mean, it looks like it's going to be really nice. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do all the updates yet because if I go into the settings, you can see here that it's got GPS connection, so it will show you your GPS connection where you are. Let me just bring up the app on online and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is the app site on the App Store. This is where you download it. The app is actually called Camrote. That is what you download. So if you look also what's coming on this, you can actually geo tag images as well. So it's going to show locations and things like that as well. The other thing too, you are going to be able to, it says here, easily select multiple images to transfer as RAW or JPEG original files. The other great thing is it's going to come with a Time-Lapse app. So this is going to be a great way of adding time-lapse to your camera. This still has to be done, I think, as in-camera purchases. Now, they are not available yet. Clearly, these are all going to be added soon. I can't seem to connect at this stage. I've only downloaded the app today. It's only been released today. So these things are going to actually come. Let me just move across to here. You can see here how you're going to be able to track your movement for geo tagging, and it'll show where you actually shoot, things like that as well. So it's going to be great. Seems like it's going to have some really nice features that are there. It's going to be able to easily transfer full resolution RAW or JPEG files from your camera. Stable connection, and it does seem to be stable from what I've used. Ability to change shutter settings with the flick of a finger. Grids, etc. available on there. Simple to use and effective time-lapse mode. What else is it saying there? Geo tagging, and that will go into Lightroom as well. It's also saying easy interface for either batch download or single download or captured images. Again, I haven't been able to get the downloading worked yet. I'm going to have to contact Steve, who is the supplier of this, and see if there's a workaround or if that's still going to be an update that's going to come out with this soon. What else is it saying? Coming soon is the ability to delete photos from your camera, ability to change the focus mode, so that you're going to have that ability as well coming up soon. More information while shooting time lapses, low battery and memory warnings, support for image transfer on newer and older models. Apple smartwatch also is going to be available as well. So it seems like it's going to have some amazing things coming up in the future. So I probably would recommend to download this anyway at the moment and have a look at it. And obviously those other updates are going to come as in-app purchases eventually at the moment. But it seems to be like it's got an awful lot of nice features there that you're going to be able to use straight away if you did want to control the camera through your Wi-Fi, and it seems to be a lovely interface that you can actually use as well. So let's look in the settings. I'll click into here. The Geo Tagging yet at this stage I can't seem to get working. That could just be a bug at this stage. This has all been released today. So we'll have to wait and see. If I can get that working, I'll do another review once these features are added and they're all up and running. If you click on the settings app there, it's telling you up the top there that it's a Sony a7 III camera, Sony Corporation, and the API is version 1. Transfer, you can say here that you want it to be in RAW JPEG, RAW plus JPEG. So you can choose how you want to actually transfer here. You can also choose the slider configuration if you wanted to. You can have radio buttons, so let me change that, and then I'll go back. Now when I click into here, you can see now it's radio, it's button, it's different. I like the slider actually, but it might just depend on how you want it to look. It just depends. So I'm going to go back to settings and change those radio buttons back to sliders, because I prefer the sliders the way it works. Geo Tagging, you can say start on launch, and you can also put in your accuracy there as well for how accurate you want this to be as well. Device connection, you can attach automatically as well. Like I said, the in-app purchases I can't seem to get loaded at this stage. It might just be because this has just been released just today. So I'll let you know if I can get those up and running, and I'll talk about that in an updated video. But overall, it looks fairly exciting. It is free if you want to get the functions that I've just showed you. So that part's free. Like I said, you can pay for the in-app purchases as they become available as well. So let me know what you think about it in the comments box down below. I think it seems to be a really great app. You got nothing to lose to download it anyway because it's totally free. So it's just called Camrote. So it is actually this. Just let me bring this back. So it's that app there. If you're going to search it on the Apple Store, it's Camrote, and it's by Simon Mitchell. It's remote control for Sony cameras. So it looks fantastic. So let me know down below what you think about it, and I'll see you all soon for the next video. Bye for now.